Okay?
All right. Now, your party, I mean, yes, you want your party to win the elections.
Yes.
But I know you must have heard several times the indices, how they say when the president came in May, at that time, fuel price was 87 naira per liter. He jacked it up 66.7% to about 145 naira per liter. And today, it's way over, who knows, in different places, 3, 4, 5. Some even are telling me yesterday they bought 650 per liter at the moment.
I'm not surprised.
And then he also did say he was going to generate 10,000 megawatts of distributable power in the next 3 years during the first term in office. Several other indices like that. And these have not materialized. So Nigerians keep wondering, okay, fine, let's not look at the person, but let's look at the promises from our present reality. They don't see why they should stick with the APC.
Well, I'll tell you why they should stick with the APC. And I'm not going to say the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know, because we're not devils, okay? They should stick with the APC because they should look at what we've been able to achieve in the last 8 years in very difficult circumstances. Chamberlain, there has never been any national government in Nigeria's history that has faced the challenges that the Buhari administration has faced, okay? When we came into office, the price of oil collapsed to $26 a barrel. Okay, that was when we thought, and we, you know, I'm one of those that led the governors. We convinced the president this is an opportunity to deregulate this subsidy thing. Just allow the market, because the price was so low that it was almost what we were selling. Okay, so that was when it was moved up to that price, and the whole idea was that the government will hands off. As the price moves up slightly, you increase the pump price slightly. But who sabotaged it? The NNPC. The NNPC made an announcement and linked it to the president as if it was the president that fixed the price.
But the president is the minister.
No, he is the minister, but look, the minister of Agri doesn't fix the price of gari or rice, which is more important to our lives than fuel.
But the buck stops at the president's table.
No, the buck may stop at the president's table, but he doesn't decide the price of the biscuit you eat. There are some things that the government does. There are some things that you allow the market to do. What we wanted to convince the president in 2016, when you had that increase in price, was for the government to hands off this subsidy so that we'll get out of it for the first time. All right? But it was sabotaged. Again, we went and complained, but you know, no action was taken. Now, secondly, the country went into recession because of that. COVID came in, COVID-19, lockdown for 1.5 to 2 years, nothing got done. Okay? So there, and immediately after we got out of COVID, the Russia-Ukraine war disrupted supply chains, raised the cost of shipping, raised the cost of food. This is happening all over the world. It's not unique to Nigeria. This administration faced many challenges that I want to say the previous administrations did not. In the 60 years of PDP rule, oil price averaged $70, $80 a barrel. There was a time it went up to $140 a barrel.
Yeah, but even in the places where we ought to have been benefiting, we did not benefit. So, for instance, the Russia-Ukraine war saw oil prices going up.
Yes.
Nigeria is an exporter of crude oil. We should have benefited from that. But as a result of our ineptitude in protecting our pipelines in the south of the country, you know, Nigeria was not able to benefit from that.
That is part of the problem. But the main problem why we did not benefit is because of fuel subsidy. The subsidy takes every revenue that we earn from the sale of crude oil and more. That's the main reason. Vandalism is one thing. It reduced our oil production by a percentage, so we're not even meeting our OPEC quota. I agree with you. But if we had just sold the 1.3, 1.4 million barrels per day and got the money into the treasury instead of spending it on subsidy, Nigeria would have been better off. And as I said, this subsidy issue requires a national conversation and national consensus. It is not a partisan thing. It has been going on for years. We tried to solve it under the Buhari administration. We're sabotaged, and now we're where we are.
The Buhari administration could have had that conversation. It refused to have that conversation. And people will ask, you know, why should we trust a leadership
we have
of a
had,
party?
To be quite honest, we've had the conversation at the level of the National Economic Council, chaired by the Vice President. We all agreed it should go. It was Buhari himself. He took a decision that this subsidy will hurt the poor, and I won't do it. Okay? So it is not about not having a national conversation. Everyone agreed, but the president took that decision. And that is why our presidential candidate in the same party can say, I will remove it. Okay? So it is not a party position. It is the personal decision of the president, and he's the president.
Okay. There was one conversation I remember you had. I think you chaired that committee as well, on your party's decision about restructuring.
Restructuring, yeah.
What happened to the report?
We submitted the report. The president agreed with it. Action is supposed to be taken. Some bills have even been drafted and sent to the National Assembly, but it has not gotten the traction that it has. Again, this is another thing that all the presidential candidates have agreed that it should be adopted and implemented. So and it will solve many of our problems. Why wasn't it actioned in
this government? Didn't the president agree with it?
I honestly don't know. I have not, for the past 3-4 years, I have stopped trying to understand how the federal government works. Okay? I just focused on trying to make my state work because that's my primary responsibility. There are some things that we agree with the president, and he says this will get done, it doesn't get done. And those that refuse to get it done don't get punished.
So there are big questions when you say that. I mean, because right now people are wondering what is happening with your party's presidential campaign council. It doesn't appear that everybody is on the same page, singing from the same hymn sheet. So for instance, if you have a president who is saying, I don't want to remove subsidy because it's going to hurt
the president is not on the ballot. The president has his tenure up to 29th May. He may not want to remove subsidy, but our party, if you look at our manifesto, we never promised that we're going to keep petroleum subsidy. We never did. Our party never promised that we'll redesign the currency. It's not in our manifesto.
Well,
you need to separate, okay, the personal decisions of some people in the villa from the manifesto of the party. It's important to understand that.
Is there a division? Because the people in the villa, some people will argue that they're parts of your party.
No, most of them are not. That's what is interesting. Most of them are not.
Is there a division between those around the president and those within your party right now, which is affecting your party's presidential campaign council?
I believe there is. I believe that there are elements in the villa that want us to lose the elections because they didn't get their way. They had their candidate. Their candidate didn't win the primaries. And I think they are still trying to get us to lose the elections. And they are hiding behind the president's desire to do what he thinks is right. I'll give 2 examples. This petroleum subsidy, okay, which is costing the country trillions of naira, was something that we all agreed will be removed. In fact, I had a discussion with the president and showed him why it had to go, because how can you have a capital budget of 200 billion for federal roads and then spend 2 trillion on subsidy? This was a conversation I had with the president in 2021 when the subsidy thing started rising. He was convinced. We left. It changed. Everyone in the government agreed. It changed, okay? Secondly, the second example I will give is this currency redesign. You have to understand the president. People are blaming the governor of the central bank for currency redesign. No. You have to go back and look at the president's first outing as president. He did this. Buhari Idiagbon regime changed our currency and did it in secrecy with a view to catching those that are stashing away illicit funds. It's a very good intention, very clean intention. The president's heart is white, okay? But doing it at this time, within the time allotted, just doesn't make any political, economic, or sense. And For such a program to work, okay, we have to be involved as governors, as subnationals. Because, look, in my state, there are 2 local governments without banks. In Borno State, out of 27 local governments, only 2 have banks. In Yobe State, out of 17 local governments, only 2 have banks. So how do you expect farmers in every part? And remember, Borno State is 4 times the size of the 5 southeast states. So how do you expect everyone to change his currency within the time limit? Look, there are some things
So knowing the example and given the example that you've given, what then are the chances of your candidate in the presidential elections?
Look, the people of Nigeria should understand that these are not the policies of the APC, they are not the policies of our candidate, they are the policies of fifth columnists that want to bring us down. They want to bring this country down. Because, look here, the governors met a few days ago and sent a delegation to meet with the governor of the central bank on this matter. We've never been really involved in this. We said, look, we are the people that listen to the cries of those below. I went to Cubao and Ikara for campaign last week. And after the campaign, after the rally, the Farmers Association came to me. They said, look, we thank you for all your good policies in agriculture. Buhari has helped in anchor borrowers and this and that. And we thank you particularly for bringing Olam that takes up all our grains that we produce. But why are you trying to make us poor overnight? There is only 1 bank branch in Cubao local government. Cubao local government is larger than Anambra State. 1 local government. There is 1 bank branch. And these are farmers that have millions of naira of their hard-earned money. These are not politicians in Abuja that have stashed billions. These are farmers that have millions of naira. It's their hard-earned money. And they want to change it. And they have to travel 100 kilometers to the nearest bank branch. And on their way, there is a chance that bandits will even seize their money. How can that be done in a few months? It can't. So we went to the governor of the central bank. I said, look, extend this thing. And let's work together. Okay? The governors with security agencies, we provide vehicles to the banks and central bank. We go town to town, village to village, market to market, and say, come and change your money. We support the idea of redesign. We know that there are people with stashes of cash. We also want that mopped up, okay? But we should not in the process make ordinary people suffer or ignite the anger of voters against our party as if it is our party's policy. It is not.
All right.
It is the policy of a few people. Well, and it's probably either not well thought through or intentionally designed to crash the political process. Because what happens if tomorrow people start protesting because they don't have cash, they can't transact? People are trading by barter because many that have deposited their cash cannot get the new currency.
All right, Excellency.